Does it ever feel like Jesus is calling you out on the water? Not just any water, but deep water. Deep water that's tossed about by storms and waves. This is him calling you out. This isn't you enduring it. He's calling you. Camp starts today. I'm leaving camp early this year and on Tuesday to head for Washington for a family reunion. So I've been talking back and forth with some of the staff and trying to fill in, where I'm not doing stuff this year, this activity, devotions, activities, and stuff like that. We've developed an efficient system in the past 13 years, and even though I tend to cause a little bit of trouble when I'm there, I think they'll miss me. Craig's one of the counselors for the boys group, and I'm really confident in Craig. This will be his third year as counselor, and I'm hoping that he's going to be able to take care of some of the technical stuff, PowerPoint and sound after I leave. But as I was going through and arranging in my mind and making the phone calls to everybody and saying, I'm not going to be there, I'm not going to do this, you can do this, and all that, I get a call from Craig. And I wasn't fast enough to answer it. And I was kind of panicking, Oh no, so I hurried up and called him back. And he didn't answer back. And I texted him. I said, what did you call for? What did you call for? And I was wondering if it was camp related because I was in the mode. I was in a camp mode. And then I was thinking, I wonder if Craig's going to bail out, Maybe something came up and he wasn't able to come. Maybe it would be too difficult for him to be away from Cheryl Lee and his comfortable bed. Maybe sleeping on a bunk bed with a bunch of loud kids, that giggle and burp and make other noises would be too much for him. And I feared Craig was going to say, I was going to go to camp, but. The title of my sermon is But. And it was inspired by Craig's call. And he did finally respond to my text with a text. And he goes, and it read, it was a butt dial. Sorry. I'm glad it was a butt dial and not a butt call, I was going to go to camp, but... Oh, pray for camp. And please turn to Luke 9:51. The passage we're going over this morning is about following Jesus. The following Jesus is not convenient. And Jesus makes this clear. Jesus also makes it clear that excuses like family, safety, comfort, or life events must not interfere with the commitment to follow him. Now, before we get to the buts or the excuses for not following Christ in our passage, Jesus leads by example. The passage we read earlier from Isaiah 50 talks about setting one's face like flint. And that basically was talking about Jesus. And before Jesus ever endured the cross, before Jesus ever went through all that, the trials and stuff, here's Isaiah 50, and he talks about this man setting his face like flint, even though he would offer his face to have his beard pulled out, even though people would mock him and spit in his face. Jesus would not be deterred. There would be no buts, but to go and do what he was called to do. He could have said, I would have made it to the cross, but I couldn't take any more mocking and spitting in my face. He could have said, I could have made it to the cross, but the beating, the slapping in my face, and the pulling out of my beard, it was just too much to continue to the cross. He could have said, I would have made it to the cross. And then he could have looked at me and says, he wasn't worth it. Jesus calls us out on the water. And there are many buts out there that could keep us on shore. And Jesus is our example. And when he says, "Follow me," he intends for us to follow through as he did. You know, as he heads toward Jerusalem to be lifted on the cross, Jesus meets with a strong pull of resistance from Samaria. They didn't want Jesus to go to Jerusalem. And